Good evening, and welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Committee of the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended at 7:15 p.m. on Monday, October 28, 2024, at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Moreover, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, considering certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting is being run in hybrid mode. Live participation, Zoom participation, and as I always say, conceivably some phone participation as well. 6 new applications for certificates of appropriateness will be heard this evening in the order listed on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it is the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway Historic District. Our office administrator, Lisa Sherman, will be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this process. So, concerning process, our process here is to call each application in the order listed on the agenda. The applicant and/or the applicant's representatives, if present, will kindly come before us, sit at the table, speak into the microphone, identify yourself or yourselves, and state your application proposal without interruption from the committee or from members of the public, after which the committee will be free to ask questions or make comments, and after that, members of the public, especially abutters, will be free to ask questions or make comments, and for that purpose, if you are present, if you would kindly stand at the podium to my front left, speak into the microphone, and likewise identify yourself, where you live, and state your case. So the first application on the agenda tonight is 24-A131. It's to replace the siding at 30 Dutchland Drive. Nicholas Lawrence is the owner, and do we have Nicholas present tonight? Thank you. If you would come before us and state your case.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nicholas Lawrence. So we had a situation where we had the windows and the siding. They were supposed to be done together. We had gotten the license for the permit for the windows. Yeah, a little to me, I did not know we were supposed to have separate permits at the time. I hired a contracting company out of Nantucket to do the job, which they did do. They did replace 24 windows on the house, and they were supposed to do the front of the house and the 2 sides. They did work on getting the permit done for the windows. We did not know the permit was not done for the siding. I'm here today to let you guys know that the siding on the house is already done. So I was told to follow through with the process, just let you guys know that we did go ahead and finish that up.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Questions or comments from the committee?
Can you just, are the windows replaced as well?
The windows are replaced as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I visited and it sure does look good.
It sure does.
We did, the windows on the house, it was just, we bought the house, me and the wife, we bought the house in 2019. The house was built in 1990. It was just terrible. So we had to invest some money inside the house, to make it livable for ourselves. We tried to get solar panel. We were denied because the siding on the house was leaking, so there was water going down in the electrical box. That's another thing I will have to reach out to the town to get permit for. And so, this really, really great people came out. We didn't understand everything that was supposed to be done. And they did put a lot of the work on me. Hey, I have to get this permit. I have to do this. I have to do that. So we did get the permit for the windows, which was pretty fast. The town did great on that. And then the one for the siding. Here I am today now, just to let you guys know that. Yeah.
No more questions from me.
So when you say you got the permit for the windows, was that from the building department?
Yes.
So that should have come through us too.
Yes,
Replace windows should have come in application to this board. Did you apply to this board to replace the windows?
I did.
You did?
Yeah. Then we did get the permit for the
But did you
windows.
apply to Old Kings Highway for the windows? Because that should have been an application to replace the windows, should have come before this board,
Okay.
before it goes to the or at the same time it goes to the building department.
Yeah,
So the
I did
building
apply-
department issued a permit?
Sounds like it.
I did get a permit for it.
From the
Might-
building
may have-
department? From the building
From
department,
the building, yes, from the building department, yes.
right, they're not supposed to issue that,
Okay, yeah, so we did get a permit from,
yeah.
Well, it would appear to be moot,
Yeah.
since everything's done. so-
Fine.
And it looks great.
It's water under the bridge,
Yeah.
but worth noting.
Water under
Yeah.
the siding.
Make sure you apply when you want to do solar panels to this committee.
$98,000 later, guys, you know, yeah.
So just for the record, what's the current siding on the building?
The current sign-in?
What is it? What material?
The new
So
siding.
it is clapboard, it is oak siding.
Okay.
Yeah, red oak clapboard.
Oh,
And you're
right.
going to replace it with cedar?
They already
He
replaced
did
it.
it.
Done.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done already.
I'm sorry, my apologies. It's cedar siding.
This is- Okay, so the whole
cedar siding.
application is moot,
Right.
in other words. All right.
It's cedar
Um,
siding.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the committee?
The only comment is maybe we should ask the building department why they're issuing permits without our approval.
Could have been a like for like, or it could have been an exemption, but I'll go back and check on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah.
Do you have any further?
The only
plans?
instance in which it would not, it would circumnavigate this committee is if it's a maintenance issue. And
Emergency.
possibly, do you know if it was a maintenance issue?
It was leaking water.
The
In
window.
other words, things were so badly deteriorated that they,
Front windows on the house, they were pretty bad. You know, we might as well open them, especially the ones in my little boy's room. That one was gone. So that they had to be replaced. And, you know, we had an inspector came out.
all right, well, that might be the explanation.
There's a question here.
Yes.
Do you think you have further projects in mind, Nicholas?
Yes. Yes.
Share that with us.
So upon inspection of the house, we noticed that where the deck meets the house, the deck has to be removed because underneath it, it is rot. So that's something that the wife and we planned for April of next year, just to give ourselves some wiggle room. So I will be reaching out to this committee for approval on that. The deck right now, it's not a really big deck, but we plan to go at least 4 feet out on the back, 4 feet out on the side for that.
We look forward to seeing you, I'm sure.
Yes.
Other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions or comments from members of the public, especially abutters? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on this application.
I'd move to approve it.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the vote.
Aye.
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 And aye, it's been approved unanimously, and if you would just come up and sign this document, which only is necessary if you plan on making any changes. Thank you. Oh, almost
Everybody
did
not,
it.
yeah. If you
That's it.
knocked it over, there was a prize.
Oh, really?
Too bad. I think you're the,
You don't have to stay.
Necessary.
He wants to learn the process.
Yes, exactly.
But you don't have to stay. Okay.
You guys have a good night.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
The next application on the agenda is 24-D009. It's to remove the chimney at 35 Knollwood Drive. Daniel Chisholm is the owner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, my wife and I purchased the home almost 2 years ago, be 2 years this coming November. The chimney, we knew was an issue when we first purchased, thought we could save it. The brick is spalling, it's absorbing water, freezing, and blowing apart. So I found a mason to waterproof it. So he sealed it all up. The roof was replaced. All the flashing was redone. The lead flashing, he redid that because that was in poor condition. Flashing on each side of the chimney where it meets the house was redone to hopefully stop the leaking. It seemed to be doing the trick, but we've had maybe a month ago, we had 3 or 4 days of rain, heavy rain. The wind-driven rain really drives in. I think the bricks are so split from the water getting in and freezing. Several rows are split, so the water sealant that he put on there isn't effective enough. So the water's getting in, it's continuing to leak. I had an install of I installed a gas log insert into the fireplace, hoping that I had fixed the issue, but it continues to leak. I don't want to damage that, and I don't want to have a mold problem. I can't stop the leaking. The crown has been sealed. There's not much else I can do. So I'm making application to tear the chimney down and just replace it with just what is sometimes called a doghouse, to put a gas fireplace insert with a direct vent through the wall and eliminate the chimney entirely. I don't need the chimney. I'll replace the gas water heater with a hybrid electric heat pump water heater, and there's no need to have the chimney. So.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from the committee?
So these photographs of trim around the chimney, those are attempts to stop the leaking?
Correct. In behind that is flashing. It's, there's rubber behind that, and there's metal flashing, then there's the siding itself, the cedar. That seemed to work at the splay.
Yeah.
Further up above the roof line, the chimney is just cracked. It just,
I saw that. It's I don't recognize these bricks.
they're in very poor
I
shape.
don't know where they came from.
If you look at the top, some of the pictures, you can see where the face of the brick is blown away, just spalled right off.
Well,
And the bricklayer that I have, that I'd like to have take it down, he's telling me there's no way he could tear it down below the roof line and rebuild it. The brick is in poor shape. It would have to be completely torn to the ground, and there's really no need for me to rebuild it if I'm going to put a hybrid water heater, and the only thing being used in it now is the flue for the water heater, really.
well, that's too bad.
It is.
So it's the bricklayer the repairs that are done on the chimney now that are visible in the photographs, is the bricklayer you're referring to, is he the one that made these repairs?
The which, you talking about the paint, or you talking about?
I'm talking about the repointing.
Yeah.
Did he do that? Do you know what he used?
No, I take that back.
Okay.
It was not him. It was somebody previous to that, whom was not somebody I was going to keep working on my house. Did a terrible job. Kind of difficult to find somebody who really knows how to put a chimney together.
Other questions or comments from the committee?
Well, I would say that it is repairable if you had the right mason that knew what they were doing. Because, first of all, I would never waterproof a brick chimney. That's not a good idea. because then it can't, brick is porous, and it can let moisture out from the inside. You waterproof the outside, and the moisture can't get out. That could be causing your water problem on the inside. Possibly, I don't know. But I think it is probably
I had buckets
repairable.
underneath that before it was sealed. It was pouring in. In fact, it's in the basement, puddling in the basement,
I mean,
and it's very close to the electrical panel.
down the flue or?
No, right down the face of the,
Where the
where the chimney meets the
Chimney
house.
meets the house,
if you look at the pictures from the attic,
yeah.
the roof is stained, the sidewall is stained.
It's weird.
The brick is completely cracked.
So my question, aside from the
Cracked brick.
serviceability or salvageability of the chimney, is it an architectural enhancement to the house? I'm not seeing that particularly. I don't think its loss would be a terrible thing. Any questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public?
If I have one, could I add one thing? If I were to build the house today, brand new, and put in hybrid equipment, such as a hybrid electric water heater, or even a sidewall gas-fired water heater, furnace, and all of that, there'd be no need for a chimney. I wouldn't even put a chimney in there. I wouldn't build a house with a chimney. There's no need for it.
Right, but in 1982, there was a fireplace when it was built, and it was a feature of the house from 1982.
That would be fine if it weren't leaking the way it's leaking.
Right.
And I don't want to end up with a mold problem, and I also don't want to damage the interior of the home.
Don't blame you for that.
It's tricky because we have to be consistent. And your home was built in 1982, and it looks like it was, so we know that that's, so to give you the leniency suggests that we might have to, or should, give it elsewhere, and it's tough. Because we do all feel, and I agree, that a chimney is, kind of anchors a home. It's a part of a home. You expect to see a chimney, and without it, it seems boxy and unfinished.
Well,
So it will be a shame if we approve your demolition.
I agree with the idea of it changing the look of the home. That's why I made the attempt to try to save the chimney.
Right.
All right, well,
And the photo that I showed you of the doghouse, that home is in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, now we're used to the doghouses.
That's in the second application.
other questions or comments from the committee?
No,
Questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
move to approve 24D009.
It's been moved, is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, is there any further discussion on this?
I just have mixed feelings about it.
Well, I do too, but it seems like the problems are outweighing the necessity for the architectural change. It's unfortunate, but
I agree with that, I think.
if it were an antique and it were downtown near 6A, I think it'd be another story. It would be, I think I'd be voting to have it rebuilt. But here at it's like a cul-de-sac and out of the public way. Like was already said, it's a shame to lose any chimneys, but I think this guy's troubles are overwhelming.
I think if it was the case where you simply just didn't like it and you wanted to have a gas stove, a fireplace, and wanted to get rid of it, were there no problems, that would be an issue.
Right.
But given the situation, I don't have a problem with it.
So it's not uncommonly the case, we're not exactly all of the same mind on
Right.
this particular issue as concerning the architectural significance of the chimney, but is there any further discussion before we vote?
No.
All right. All in favor of approving the application for removal signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. All right, if you'll be kind enough to sign this document, which, as you heard me say previously, only is relevant if you decide to change your mind.
Somebody, Timothy Copley, is asking to talk.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been up there for a while, though. They have, it's the middle one, it says allow to talk.
We
Oh, I
did, we
see.
asked
All right,
for
so-
butters and members of
Who's
the public,
Timothy
didn't
Curley?
we?
I think he's,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
The butter.
He's in a butter.
He's
Last
on the last
application.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, you have
No,
another
which one?
application
you have another application in
part
front
two?
of us.
for your doghouse. Now you have to get the approval.
Cleared the first hurdle, but the tape's not yet quite in view.
All right.
The next item on the agenda is 24-A132. It's to add a wood-frame doghouse for gas fireplace, exhaust combustion, air intake at 35 Knollwood Drive, and Daniel Chisholm is the owner.
Okay, so it's basically just a small frame section of the home to
Yep.
house the gas fireplace. Be in the same place as where the chimney was, on the same footprint. And away from the house in the same footprint. And I would reside the rest of the building from the doghouse to the roof line with cedar shingles.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Questions or comments from the committee on this one?
I just have one question, because I don't really know the answer to it, but when you remove a chimney from a house, what is behind the chimney relative to the house? Are there shingles behind it? Do you have to redo it?
Sheathing,
Sheathing,
What is it?
just the sheathing.
that's the sheathing.
Just the sheeting.
I would usually,
So he said he's gonna put new shingles on where the chimney used to be.
You need to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's fine.
so that'd be above the doghouse
Yeah, okay.
where the chimney used to be.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on this application.
I move to approve.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will hear the vote. All in favor of approving this application signify by saying aye.
aye?
Aye.
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 And aye. So, same thing, Daniel. You'll come up and sign, and then you're free to go. Thank you. Good luck with it.
You're welcome.
What dog are you getting?
That's not happening. I'd be overruled on that one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item on the agenda is 24-A133. It's to install 11 solar panels on the side and rear roofs at 55 Route 6A. Susan Starkey is the owner, and Freedom Forever MA LLC is the agent. And who do we have this evening?
Susan's on the phone.
Hello.
Tyler, okay.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. My name's Tyler, and I'm with Freedom Forever for tonight. And so we are looking to install 11 panels on the back and the side of the roof, covering a total of 230.88 square feet. There would be 4 panels on the back roof and then 7 panels on the side of the roof. The panels are black on black. The panels would not be visible from Route 6A, but they are visible from Willow Street.
Is that it, Tyler?
Yeah, that's basically all I've got here.
Okay. Questions or comments from the committee?
It's a tiny system. And who will own this system?
Yeah.
Will the owner of the property own the solar panel installation, or will Freedom Forever own it, and is it a lease?
Let me see here. I can probably pull that up.
It's not critical, it's not germane.
Are we
As-
entitled to know that?
Pardon?
It looks like it's probably a loan, so
We're not, that's why I'm saying it's really not germane. I'm curious, it's not an Old Kings Highway historic consideration. I'm just interested because of my past, so, and if it's not handy, we can move right along.
yeah, sure. It looks like it's a Everbright loan.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So Tyler, the cluster of the 4 panels that directly faces Willow Street, typically we like to see a rectangular configuration on a roof that's 7 pitch or less. That's a 12 pitch roof, it's not rectangular. That particular cluster I have a problem with. The other side roof is not as concerning to me, but I'm wondering if you looked at the 2 dependencies on the property. Both of those have gable roofs that face due south, and you could put panels on those and they wouldn't be visible at all from Willow Street.
Are you talking about the detached structures?
I'm just wondering if you considered that.
I don't know that we have, but that is a good point. We could certainly, if they're, structurally sound and the homeowner wanted to do that, I think we'd be able to trench out to those structures.
The I don't know, is it the garage that has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 panels on it? Is that a garage with the 7 panels, Tyler? Do you know?
Looks like just
I
an
don't
addition.
believe so.
Or just an L off the building?
It's an L, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that particular portion of the home is closer to the 2 outbuildings.
Right.
I mean, I have a problem with it being so visible from Willow Street personally, so, particularly if it's not a rectangular array on that main part of the house.
I would
Yeah, I
have,
understand.
I would have to agree with that. I think since you have other options, putting them on the side of a roof on another structure, it would probably be a better choice. And they wouldn't be seen.
I might,
Okay.
I don't know if they're as high as the other ones. I think they're lesser in height.
there's trees too on the property line. And
Yeah,
so-
that is,
So I'm not,
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, well, no, you're the developer, so you're really, I would just say that, yeah, there's trees, so, and having to go underground with the conduit to bring it to the junction box adds quite a bit of expense. This is a small array. Now, so we can always expect it, and then if it's not cost effective, they won't go forward. But
Right.
it is, those buildings are definitely shaded. I think I can even Google it and we can look at it.
Yeah, I would imagine that they are shaded on what I think would be the west side.
Well, the roofs of those two buildings are the same as the roof that you've got the 7-panel array on.
Exactly.
Right.
They both, two sides, one side of each of those buildings faces south.
Right, and south is,
Right.
I would assume south's a bit, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right, love. Perhaps it could be a bit shaded, but I just still think it's a better option than in the section of the house where you want to put the 4 panels.
Might I ask the committee who object to the 4 panels? There's the panel that disrupts the rectangular shape. If they lost that one panel, would that be acceptable to the committee members? So it becomes a rectangular shape, and there are pipes, vent pipes that are right there, and I'm not sure, I think that's a skylight window to the left.
The skylight.
I think, I
Yeah.
was there today, so that's my memory.
So I'm wondering if we explored the alternative location proposed by this members of this committee, if the resulting increase in efficiency would compensate for the initial outlay of expense to make it happen. If that might be a mitigating factor against the added expense of trenching.
Yeah, if that's possible, that would be a great solution.
Plus, those roofs face south. The other roof facing Willow Street faces east, which is not the optimal exposure for solar panels.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, would,
Well, it's up to them.
would
isn't it?
anyone accept a motion to table?
I would.
Do we have-
Well, before we get into that, just let me ask, there are other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain the motion.
All right, I move to table item number 24A133.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion?
I'm just a little bit confused about tabling it from the committee's viewpoint. Shouldn't we give them the option to be heard? I mean, isn't it up to them?
Well, they're not ready to tell us what they
Back and
think.
Tell us.
Well, they might be fine with a denial.
No.
Well,
I don't know, is that,
We're offering them
that
an
on the
option.
table?
If we deny them, they'd have to appeal.
yeah, I mean, it's,
We're offering
Right.
them an option by tabling it.
Okay,
and then just
I think
coming
that's-
back.
yeah.
That-
Does that
Tom
suit,
and Susan both have their hands raised up on the screen.
or Tyler? It's
Susan
just
both have
Tyler.
their
so Tyler, how does that sound to you?
Well,
Susan.
there's Susan, so Susan,
How,
Tyler, before you close on this for us,
yeah,
so Al and I are here. I don't have ability to show you video, but we are the owners of the property. We've gotten 3 other bids, which are also very good. They all at first recommend solar panels that face 6A as our best option, and we have said, no, we really care about the historic character of our neighborhood. And so they've selected the best ones. They've all selected these 2 sides. The problem with the outbuildings is the first outbuilding that's immediately next to the house is it was originally an ice cream, no, not ice cream, a candy store. And the roof is very sloped and old. And then the garage is a lot higher, but it also has a barn of our next door neighbors facing it. So we would really like to get solar. We would really like to go through this lease program. We also have the option, we could own it outright if we choose to instead. We've got both of those options on the table. But to add expense, when we've got such a small system, because we're so energy efficient, that I would really ask you to consider moving this forward so we could get this done yet this year. And I'm happy to answer any other questions, as well as my husband
Can I-
is.
I have a question for
I
us.
do too.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I would just ask Susan if any of the other installers suggested 4 solar panels on your roof facing Willow Street in a rectangle as opposed to what's coming forward from Freedom Forever, which has an odd panel at an odd angle at the bottom of the trio. Do you know?
They all had the same basic, they seem to all pick the same thing, and it is a skylight there that has them trying to work around the skylight.
And it's probably the shade from the vent pipes that's preventing them from adding a fourth panel in the row at the top of the
Right.
roof, or at the bottom of the roof, no, top of the roof, yeah.
Su-
Okay.
Susan, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So the other side of that roof actually faces west, which I believe is a better exposure than east for solar panels. Did they look at that? Because it seems to me that,
Fairly flat roof.
no, it's the same pitch.
No,
It's
it's
the same pitch. It's the other side of the same
The other,
pitch.
is this one?
Yeah, it is.
So it's the same pitch, other side, not visible from Union. And I think I don't know which is the front or the back of your house, how you refer to it, but the part closer to 6A, I would think might block the view of panels on that roof facade.
Yeah, and I thought that was curious too, that none of the three came in with that side. So I know that
That's an
there's,
alternative.
I'm sorry,
I
say it again,
believe it-
Susan.
I believe it may be a shading issue. I'm just looking at a Google image, satellite image, and I believe it might be the shading.
Trees.
there has been a tree that's been taken down in the last year, but the Googling shows that as well.
Okay.
Okay, so there's, then the other thought I have is on the furthest back portion of the house. Is that a
Main
gable,
house.
is that a gable roof as well?
Is it, are you talking about right here?
I'm looking at the diagram.
This is Willow Street,
Right, so on the other side of this roof,
this one here,
which is right here.
this one, and this one.
On the main house, they could put some right there, and then they could put some right here.
Well, yeah, but they said no.
No, I don't think she said no to that. We were talking about these things.
Yeah, those are no.
So if I could ask the committee to try to address
Share,
um,
share.
your
Well,
comments and questions so that they can be on the record rather than sotto voce between each other.
So,
yeah.
what we were just talking about, so on the main house, you have the part of the house, the L, that you have those 4 panels on, and you've got the other side of that. But the part of the main house in the back that faces south, you've got like half a roof there that looks like you could put those panels on that roof that face south, on the back side of your main house.
Probably just 3, but still.
I don't know if you
Are
know.
you talking about where there's the 3 and then the one below it?
No.
No, this is, yeah, this is confusing.
Maybe we should
The L
suggest
comes
that
into
they-
your main house, and you're gonna put panels on the front of that L. On the back side of your main house, on the other side of the L, you've got a portion of roof that faces south that looks like you could put 3 or 4 panels on that.
Well, I think,
No, it faces east.
yeah,
How do you get south out of that?
We got, the ones that you're proposing face east,
The,
the back side of
the
it.
one that the roof that you have the 7 panels on faces south. And
Yes.
then I'm talking about, you've got a portion of your roof with the 4 panels on it, and you've got the other side of that roof. But on the back side of the main house roof, right, I don't know if you could see,
it's above the entryway.
I don't know if you can see this, but it's on the back side of your main house on the other side of the L.
As you go in the front door, it would be on the roof above the front door.
It would be on the back side of that roof. The back of that roof.
6A.
No, the back side of it faces south.
Yeah, it doesn't face the
6A side faces north. So if you put it on the back side of the main house, behind the L, you've got room there, it looks like, that you could put 3 or 4 panels. And it's facing south.
Either
Are you
here,
getting
here.
it all? Right here.
This is this gable end, so the back side of the gable end.
So these 4 could go here.
All right, well, so there seems to be some concern among members of the committee about the location proposed, and there had been a willingness on the part of Tyler to explore alternatives. Susan, are you opposed to any alternative ideas that may present themselves tonight? Or
Not
be,
at all. No, Bob, I appreciate the alternatives and this idea of where else on the main house.
Yeah, the
Makes the most
rear right
sense.
of the main house faces south, and it looks like you could put 3 or 4 panels on there.
Right. So Tyler, I mean, I would be happy to have us go back to Freedom Forever, to the engineers and say, okay, what's our next best thing? Because actually, I do think that there was a proposal that we got that had those 3 that are there, and then there's the skylight. I think there could be one put to the left of the skylight and be rectangle, so that's.
I'm not even
possibly
talking
one.
about that roof. I'm not talking about the roof
I
with the
know,
sky.
I know you're not, I'm just saying that's
looking at
another
options.
option.
Another option.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Bob, we're willing to,
do you feel,
look
do you
at- we
feel
just wanna
that
find
you've,
the right solution.
excuse me, I'm sorry, do you feel that you've gotten sufficient guidance from this committee at this point so that if we vote on this motion, which is still alive and well, to table the application, that you, Tyler, specifically, and you, Susan, also can come back with something that will more, will ease our collective qualms, or the qualms among some of us, about the location of some of the panels being proposed? Do you feel that you, are you,
Yes, I feel
are
like
you
the-
not
the main
confused about
issue
this?
here- No, we're essentially just trying to make this not visible from Willow Street, right?
Right, yes,
And so
exactly.
we want, okay.
Or 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm happy to take this back to the drawing board to
Right.
make this work,
Okay.
see what we can do.
Okay, Susan, you feel the same way?
Can we come back yet this next month, because we would hope to
Okay,
get this
so-
started.
Is there any further discussion on the motion at this point? Okay, so it's been moved to table, it's been seconded. All in favor of tabling the application signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Thank you both.
Just one question, to Susan's point, is there a timeline of when we'd be able to propose a new idea, a new design?
2 weeks? The next meeting? If it's ready by
go.
19th. 13th?
November 13th.
November 13th?
Okay, great.
Fantastic, thanks, guys.
All right, love.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
I have to be in by.
Send him a note.
The next item on the agenda is 24-A134. It's to replace 4 windows at 421 Route 6A. Fred and Betsy Perrette are the owners, and Clifford Whalen is the agent.
Let Cliff stay home tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So Betsy Perrette, Fred Perrette.
I'm Fred.
421 Main Street is, we're looking to replace the 2 front windows and the 2 side windows, like for like, 2 over 2.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, questions or comments from the committee?
How did that house manage to get 2x2s and 2x2s and then 6x6s?
It was generations before I was around, I can certainly tell you that.
And
Which
it's
do you think are the latest?
The newest, you mean?
Yeah,
what's
I
current?
think the 2 over 2 are probably the newest,
the newest, okay.
at least according to Cliff, who's born and raised in Yarmouthport and has built extensively here. That,
Okay.
that
So those are the ones that you want to replace with like windows?
3 in the front room and the 1 in the boarding room.
2 on the side? Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So are the 6 over 6s earlier windows, can you tell? Are they original, the other ones that you're not looking to replace?
I would say yes, yeah. Yeah.
What year was this house
I
built?
think there's some photographs that aren't, okay. All right. I'm being censured.
No, they don't.
I mean, they're nice windows you want to put in. I'm just wondering if you would consider putting in 6 over 6 instead of 2 over 2s, just so that it will be consistent with the rest of the
It
house.
wasn't some, yes, we did consider that, and it wasn't, it was recommended that in order to get approval, if you go like for like, it was most likely to be approved, so that was our,
Really?
Yeah, and that's a valid argument. But you said you have a mix. I don't know, is the
if it-
6/6 more?
Well, I have a question about like for like. I'm very literal when people talk about like for like. To me, that means same design, same materials, exactly as what's there.
Right.
Now, I have not made a study of those windows, but if they were in fact installed prior to World War II, which is what is stated on the application, chances of them being like for like at this point is extremely unlikely.
Okay.
If you'll excuse the pun, so we're not truly talking like for like. We're talking about a similar design. So, and I think there is, we are entitled to not only suggest, but we could actually, this is a very significant house on 6A. And I think it would benefit from windows that reflect its period. I think it would be good for the house, I think it would be good for you, and I think it would be appropriate for this committee, if this committee is of a like mind, to actually mandate that the windows be replaced with 6/6 true divided light. And if that makes you happy, then
Can we
that would be
speak-
my recommendation, not speaking for the committee, but solely for myself at this point.
We speak to what color, there are options in this, in the 6/6 for white mullions versus black. There's a, and,
Which would you
What
prefer?
are your others?
I think we would prefer white at this point.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we've seen photographs
I just didn't want to,
from
learn later on that it had to be
roughly the 1880s,
Mm-hmm.
and they were black.
Right,
the ones that are now white.
They were black over black.
The ones on the,
that was common.
Yes.
Interesting.
So, I mean, we've got obvious reasons why we want to replace the windows, and,
Yeah.
we want to do it right. We don't want to do it cheap fashion, we want to do it in the right way, and, like I said, we came in here, we were told that
keeping the style the
in
same.
that style, that was actually at that period a sign of affluence, because the windows had larger panes instead
Right.
of
That's
smaller.
actually true.
Yeah.
However, you're
That's
replacing windows, and so that opens up the opportunity to replace them with period-appropriate windows. And if we collectively agree that that would be the way to go, and you're receptive to that idea, I think it would be nice for the house. That's my opinion.
Are all of the windows 6/6s? All the rest of them?
There's 7 windows, and
You can see from the street.
3 are 6/6 that you could see from
yeah,
the street,
right,
and
okay.
the 2 in the front, 2 in the side are 2/2.
And those are, yeah, okay.
And those are the ones you want to replace, so,
I would say in the interest of symmetry, to go with 6/6s for the whole house then.
So I'm curious, are these,
What
sorry.
would you need from us in order to confirm that
Could
that's
just
what we're doing?
amend-
you
We
could
could
just amend
amend-
We could
your
make an
application.
amendment, yeah.
So I'm curious, these are just replacement sashes, you're not replacing the frame, just the sashes, is that right?
Yeah. I mean, who knows what we're gonna have, what
Oh,
Cliff's gonna
well-
find when he opens. I mean, it's a 1750 house, so when he removes that window, God only knows what we're gonna find when he opens that, but that's the plan, is just to replace the windows.
And they're the same size.
Yes.
It looks like you picked out nice windows, they're wood and they're
Yeah.
true divided light, so, I mean, it shouldn't cost.
I think it'd make it more
insignificant.
uniform as well.
Significant increase between the 2/2 and the 6/6.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Really?
But, I mean, we're here to work with you, you're here to work with us. I mean, it's,
absolutely.
I mean, we're not, certainly. So, what we want to do is replace the windows. If it means replace them with a 6/6, then so be it.
Yeah, I think as stewards of it's such an early important house, to try to bring it back to what it should have been like would be my preference.
Now, you guys wouldn't have qualms whether, if we decided we wanted to do black versus white.
That's my question.
That's
I mean,
changing color.
So you said amend. the decisions. What's required of us?
We just make a motion to amend it to do
Probably
6
not.
over 6.
And then
From
we're,
white, I think it's
we
easy,
just
but if
move
they wanna
forward.
change
You
to
don't need
black-
anything else from us?
Right,
Right.
as long as you abide by
So
the
would you be
amendment.
changing the color on the existing windows as well? Or,
White.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't just,
right,
you can't
that's
just have
what-
4
that's-
black and the rest of them white.
Well, okay, so we
Yeah.
go with, so we would go with white when we replace these.
Yeah.
You know, eventually down the road, we're gonna come back and visit you guys again about doing the 2 upstairs ones and the 1 on the side,
Okay.
Which are all 6 over 6.
which are all 6 over 6, and those are in very bad disrepair.
Well,
I just have a, go ahead, John.
no, I'm sorry, but when you say bad disrepair, means they haven't been repaired yet.
Well, I mean,
So-
Fred
so-
gets up there on the ladder with his glazing compound and reglazes the mullions and, you
Yeah.
know, scrapes and paints them and keeps them, you know, so the wind's not blowing through in the wintertime, but,
All right,
you know?
we have, I have the same problem in our house, and we put interior storms in. And they're really inexpensive, they stop the wind blowing through,
Mm-hmm.
and they weigh a couple of pounds, and they cost $60 or $70 a piece. It's a lot cheaper than a $1,000 new window.
no.
Are they in terrible shape, though?
You know, they're salvageable. They're salvageable.
That's down the
We
road,
have
though.
Exterior storms on there. There's exterior storms on those
Aluminum
units.
ones?
Yeah, you,
Pardon me?
Yeah, the aluminum ones.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't work.
No, no.
Aluminum's a very good conductor of heat.
but that's down the road for you, you
Yeah,
say.
okay,
A little bit down the road, yeah, yeah.
okay.
I just want to make sure that this committee understands that these windows are not, the ones that exist now, 2 over 2, are not historic. And that's why we're comfortable with asking for 6 over 6 now.
So you say historic, you mean original, right?
No.
They are
Are there
historic, they're
pictures
put in
of
1930. They're
this
still
Okay.
historic.
home
This-
with
we've been
2
through-
over
Yeah, we've been
2?
through this argument before. I mean,
Terminology.
if they exist in the house then they're historic already.
yeah,
Do you understand what
Already
I'm
historic.
asking?
they're
Probably
they're
translate.
historic,
They're-
Not original.
but not original. There is a precedent for if we decide, and it's nice that the homeowners are being so cooperative about this, to mandate replacing with 6 over 6. There is precedent for that. We had, the commission had an appeal on a house in Sandwich, a historic house in Sandwich. And the windows in the front of the house were later, and the Sandwich Committee mandated replacing the windows with period-appropriate windows. It was appealed, and the Sandwich Committee's decision was upheld by the commission.
Okay.
So we are, for a historically significant house, which, congratulations, yours is, we are well within our rights, in my view, to mandate that. Whether we want to or not is a collective decision, not
Well,
mine.
as,
think if-
I'm the appointed architect here, so, and I agree with that.
All right?
If you guys are willing to go with 6 over 6 white to match the others and eventually down the road change all the others,
Yes.
but that's what we could
Well,
amend.
We'll talk about those then.
You know, we were trying to take the path of least resistance with the 2 over 2.
No, I think you did. You have taken the path of least
So,
resistance.
and we came here prepared, you know, we went and did due diligence and got a quote for 2 over 2, a quote for 6 over 6, so
Okay.
we would have some idea what we were dealing with, and we fully expected to hear this conversation tonight.
Good.
I feel your
Okay.
pain. I replaced 19 windows, and that was painful.
Yes.
So, any other questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on this application.
I move to approve an amended motion for 24-A134 to replace 4 windows with 6 over 6
White.
white.
Right.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Sorry.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on this application? Hearing none, will call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. So you need to sign this document, and while you're doing that, I'll get the amendment sheet.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Sign, honey? So you did it, okay.
Thank you for being so,
I know, she was busy.
That's a beautiful house.
Okay. Does that meet with your approval? If you'll just sign this right here.
Goes
In
without
case you
saying.
decide, we really don't want 6 over 6.
am I signing, Bob?
He wants your approval.
No, you're
of
good.
that.
That's, yeah, that's right.
You got the War Department.
Right, exactly.
Where do I sign, Bob?
All right, we'll see you in a couple of years.
You sure will. Thank you very much.
I sign here, so that's,
Oh, sorry, approved by, okay.
yeah,
Approved with amendment?
yeah, yep.
So do you have to let him in to speak now?
Approved, COE
Yeah.
Yes, they
required.
will. He will. Yeah, okay, yeah. When Bob calls the application.
Got it.
We'll let Timothy in.
Okay.
Are you Leslie?
I am.
Okay, good.
I don't feel like we
I'll let
voted.
Lisa fill in the rest of this.
Sign this or no?
Sorry?
I don't feel like we
Yes, or we
went,
signed the
we
original?
I
voted.
signed this and
We all sign the original?
And the-
Oh,
we're good. All right. See, this is where we approve the
got it.
modifications. Okay.
Bonk.
The last item on the agenda is 24-A135. It's to replace a garage door with 3 windows at 42 Homestead Lane. Maureen and Dennis Gilligan are the owners, and TPC Contracting is the agent.
Hi there. My name's Leslie. I am the builder at TPC Contracting, and I have Tim on the phone. If we could let
Is he
him
with
in.
you?
Yes, he's the designer for the project.
Something, Tim?
You on there, Tim?
Okay,
Okay,
good.
good. So we are proposing to convert a garage, one of the 2 garage doors, to a triple window. And we are wanting to match the window on the left, which is a bay window. So we got as close as we could. The dimensions of the windows are the same. The grill pattern's slightly different, but I mean, it matches in every way we could get it to match, not being obviously a bay window. The central window's an 8/8, flanked by 2 4/4s. We are going to add shutters, the same shutters that are already on the house. That's the plan.
Okay? Thank you. Questions or comments from the committee?
Yeah, I have a couple of, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen a house that has 2 garage doors this way.
Yeah.
You know,
it is
looks like this was an addition over here. Was this an addition?
Addition upon addition upon
Okay.
addition. So, yeah.
I think it's going to look fabulous with the
Yeah.
3 windows. If you only need 1 garage, then you're all set.
Yeah,
But I think it'll be a great improvement.
I think so too.
I'm willing to bet you're going to take the lights down, too,
The lights, which lights are we talking
on
about?
on either side of the garage. The
Oh,
Yeah, the carriage
absolutely,
lights.
Absolutely.
I'll be over to pick them up. I'll use them secondhand.
So curious, in your application, you show the new shutters you're going to put are vinyl. Are the other shutters in the house also vinyl? So they'll be the same? Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments from the committee? I don't see any abutters or other interested members of the public present. If there are any online, now's your chance to speak. Hearing none, I will entertain a it's someone?
Sorry, I was just going to jump in to say we appreciate what you guys do. I'm a co-chair of Wellesley Historical Commission in addition to being the designer. And our intent was to just work with what was already existing in the building to inform all the details and aesthetics of this.
Yep.
Did a
All
good
right,
job.
thank you.
Stout fellow.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on this application.
Motion to approve?
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
aye. Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Thank you very much, and as you've heard me say, you would kindly sign this in case you decide to change it, which we hope you don't.
We need I have one. I got it from Staples back when they
You
came
think,
out, so
instead of the week?
I think we should have that here. Maybe
so
it would
close
be
to my
inappropriate, I
brain,
don't know, but I've never been guided by appropriateness. In my lifetime, anyway. That's what happens when you want
Thank
to
you.
13.
What's your name again?
Yeah, big family.
Sign here, please.
Nurse, but
Beautiful story.
You're,
Where'd you grow up in Seven Hills?
No, Malden.
I got bit by a tick. That's why my face is all weird. On the eyelid.
Yeah. First one up was the best one
Ew.
dressed.
I know, I didn't really want to point it out
The
because
only
it
ones
is
dressed.
gross.
Did you have the rule that,
It's having doggies.
my nieces have the, you can't
You're having
wear
all
it to
kinds of
school
fun.
the
This is-
clothes you wore to bed.
No, we never had that problem.
On and on.
Because we wore uniforms, first of all.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Thing.
there you go. Where'd you grow
So
up? John?
sorry.
Thank you.
Brockton.
Oh. There you go. The Archbishop Williams?
I was, actually, they recruited me, but I didn't want to take the bus.
So we need to approve the minutes of the October 17th meeting. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the meetings of the October 17th meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye, assuming there's no discussion about it.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And aye. And we are adjourned. Oh, I'll entertain a motion.
Entertain a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?